Thank you for downloading episode 14 of the Conqueror's Corner podcast. Today is Thursday, June 24th, and your favorite podcasters are undefeated at GM Nightfalls this season. This week, I'm here with Jared.
Hey, I got two plugs, one for my phone and one for Chad.
And Chad O'Sara.
He got my plug, and we're going to talk about that.
And we're going to fill your ears with the Destiny news of the week. Before we let the dogs out, make sure you subscribe to the podcast on Spotify and iTunes, and basically any other major podcast platform. We are also now on YouTube, so I finally get to say like, comment, and subscribe to the video version. The name of the YouTube channel is cleverly named Conqueror's Corner. So make sure you subscribe, unsubscribe, then subscribe, and then unsubscribe again. Just keep that going. Be sure to leave a 5-star review on iTunes. We will read it on the podcast. Follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod, where we have links pinned to the podcast, the YouTube, as well as the Discord server. Make sure you join that Discord server, and that way you can be sure to enter the giveaway before the end of the month. We're giving away either Beyond Light, Shadowkeep, Forsaken, or the equivalent silver. It's very easy to enter. It's on there. Make sure you send us screenshots to prove that you did all the things, and it's time to get weird.
All right. So this week we had a seasonal challenge, was to play comp matches. And did you all participate yet and complete that?
Not yet. No, I haven't been in there.
I think I played 3 games. Nothing major.
Man, that is where your Destiny soul goes to die. And there is cheaters. There's people that they're sweating so much like it's a Call of Duty tournament. And Destiny has a population issue, in my opinion. And to fix this, we go complete crossplay in Season 15. That there is no holding back. All we want, control people playing with control people, MK people playing with MK people, old gen versus new gen Xbox people. No. It is nothing but connection based. This is just rip the Band-Aid off.
Oh yeah, I got my joystick and my 3 big old buttons lined up and ready to go. I'm just gonna Atari that, go to town, smash some buttons.
I said, so we're using an arcade fight stick. Yeah. So Jared, I completely agree. Population's too low to split everybody 8 ways: Stadia, Xbox One, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. It's crazy. So get us all together, and the keyboard chumps will be able to wipe the floor with all the controller noobs. So so Chad,
Look,
you're going down.
I don't think that is correct. Like my preferred input is MK, but controller people can be just as competitive.
Yeah, 1v1, Ryan.
You look at some of these Call of Duty players. Some of them are controller players, and they have the most winnings. They're in the top 5% of winnings. So like Swag and like a lot of them guys, they are absolutely cracked.
Mercs.
Yeah, they're cracked on controller. And it's the same thing in Destiny. So I think that needs to be thrown out and just let's let everybody play together.
Yeah, I watch quite a bit of trials on Twitch, and a lot of them use controller as well, and they're way better than I will ever be on my mouse and keyboard.
Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely. And it's split up among too many things right now, and it's good that they have so many options for people to play. But once that crossplay happens, it's going to make a huge difference for PvP specifically, for sure. It's going to make such a big difference.
Absolutely. So we'll go ahead and dive into the TWAB, and starting out first, the tower changed, and there is taken orbs everywhere, and we got basically an extra dark mode for the tower, which I enjoy. I think everybody likes the dark screen modes and everything when they're loading in. So, that's super fun. I haven't heard any different sounds in the tower. Have you guys heard anything besides visuals?
Oh man, I wish I played with the headphones on more often, but no. I'm getting a lot of Dreamin' City vibes, which we'll definitely talk about near the end of the season. But since we know Corey is involved and our initial impression of the Dreaming City was that Corio was involved in that. It's feeling like it's tying together, and I like that all these stories are starting to come together like that. But loading into the tower on Tuesday and seeing that blight right in front of your face is just it's great. It's great. It's exciting.
Did you all see that?
I just want you guys to know I stood on that blight for a long time, like raising the roof on the emote. Like I'm talking like 5 or 10 minutes. I just stood there. Then sometimes I give it the shoulder one that we all do.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. Do you think it's a spoiler that posts a picture on Twitter of that load in before, like 2 minutes after reset?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think like
24 hours I'm all right with.
Mm-hmm.
But
I was going to even say
minutes.
let the end of the line people play first. Like all the people in Hawaii is like the last time zone, right? So and then you got Japan.
I think New Zealand's the first, right?
So let them get dinner and play the game before you start throwing stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody can go home and sits at home and plays this game.
Well, to me, if you're not home or you're not playing the game, then you shouldn't be on Twitter.
I agree with that.
To find that stuff out.
Kind of. I mean, but
if you want to keep that stuff secret, stay off Twitter on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Are you being serious right now?
Oh yeah,
dude, you haven't read the spoilers for the season. I'll tell you what they are right now.
I stay off of it. I don't go out.
He's sticking to his guns, Ryan, and he means it.
No,
he's doing it. All right. I get the media blackout thing.
Yeah, but what if you're just what if you're eating lunch and you're halfway through your ham and Swiss and you don't realize reset hit and you see it 2 minutes after reset? What do you say about that, Jared?
What's the difference of seeing the screenshot or like when you load into the tower with taking orbs? I think it's just exciting to see the picture.
Dude, Chad gets so mad when anything gets spoiled, so I just don't talk about anything until like Thursday around it, like because sometimes I'm off on Tuesdays. So I'm just saying, like, some people are crazy about spoilers like that. Me, not so much. I'll usually go try to find them and seek them out, but some people are different.
Yeah, and on those days, I media blackout myself, dog. I ain't doing it because I know that as soon as I touch the internet, I'm going to see stuff. I'm going to see it. And it's not going to be me loading in and seeing it. Like, this time on Tuesday, I looked because I'm like, what happened in the tower? I want to see it. And I knew it wasn't going to be anything super major. So I saw the blights and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I can't wait till I play. But like for something like when Dead Man's Tale was released, I didn't want to know anything about that mission. I didn't want to know absolutely anything about it. So I didn't watch any videos on it. I didn't read anything about it. I just kind of media blacked out and waited till I got home. And it's the same thing for the 3 expunges when they came out. I didn't watch anything until I got there and actually did it. Yeah,
but not looking for a mission's a lot different than seeing a screenshot as you're scrolling through your timeline. Because some of the most fun I've had was running like the dungeons and stuff the day they released. Mm-hmm. Like I enjoyed that. I don't want any of that spoiled. I don't know.
I mean, and Jared's just saying no matter what it is, if you don't want to be spoiled, just media blackout 100% and you'll be good. But still, it's kind of the only way to do it now with social media. Everybody's got to be first to the punch for releasing stuff. And I get it. You want to get the clicks and things, but it is annoying for people that do want to, enjoy it when they get home.
All right. Another thing that happened on Tuesday is Glassway, the Grandmaster, is finally back from season 12. And I would say this time around was just as bad, but we learned from our previous experiences, I would say. And, for me, I was on the Ursa Titan. I dusted those things off. They'll back and play for the next about 5.5 more weeks as we get through these Grandmasters. And, man, it was a lot of fun getting in there and getting it done on our first try.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Always fun being an Ursa Titan. But it's even though we go back to a Grandmaster that we've done before, it's a little bit, it hits the nerves a little bit because you have different anti-champion stuff going on. So you can't copy what you did last time. You have to do a little bit, just move the inventory around a little bit, and play with guns that might not be optimal. But you got to make it work. You got to do what you got to do. And I think this time we actually got really lucky with the mods and the loadouts we were able to have this time. And I was super stoked about it. I mean, I was running, couldn't do Warmind cells because of the guns we had to use. So I was all protective light. I went charged light, supercharged, just to make sure I had the extra charges, and made sure I had my uptime for protective light, so I didn't just die immediately. Even though I was an Ursatite, and there's lots of times when you gotta run away from stuff, and if you get hit by a sniper, even at tier 7 resilience, you still want to make sure that you live. And then obviously with breach and clear, as crazy as it is, I mean, I ran an Anarchy, and then I ran Arc Scout for anti-barrier, and then just a regular hand cannon for overload. And I think I was using Inklos, so I did have like a Warmind cell proc, but it didn't happen very often because I wasn't killing things very much.
Yeah, in our famous Warlock, did you do anything different?
Yeah, so I ran double primary with Anarchy. So I ran the multi-mag CX, I think it is, which I do have like the God roll version of it. I just got absolutely blessed by RNGesus with that. And then I ran a scout rifle for anti-barrier. I ran the Vision of Confluence. So that way I would have Solar and Arc, which are the two shields that you're kind of battling against. Definitely have that 7 resilience. One of us didn't. I'll let you guys figure out who that is. And probably run a solar chest piece. That way you can get the solar resist and the sniper resist on that. And don't forget that if you're running Anarchy, there's a lot of mods like the grenade launcher scavenger. I think I got 11 Anarchy shots out of 1 purple brick, which comes in handy towards the end. If I had to do it over, like if we decide to go for it again, which I'd probably sit it out, truth be told, but I would probably not go well because it was the least useful of the 3. I'd probably go stasis. That way I could run the turrets and freeze everything in that boss room, because that's really where runs go to die, is that boss room.
Yes, it does.
So,
oh yeah.
So we kind of hugged the left like room whenever you enter in, and then funneled everything through the middle door. So just patience and time is kind of the key there to survive.
Yep, absolutely. And all 3 of us ran Anarchy because of the ammo economy that it has, and an amount of DPS with only 2 grenades that you shoot out. So if I wasn't running that, for some reason I didn't have Anarchy with a Horde, another great something to proc breach and clear and does great damage over time. And with that middle alleyway, you can throw a couple in there so that everything that's coming down is getting damaged and getting a debuff if it's a champion. And then, so for me, what I did do, I ran an empty vessel with blinding nades. So I really helped out with the wyverns, and then the mini Hydro boss. It also gets blinded. So to get them like stop shooting at you for a second whenever you get overwhelmed when you come into that left area, it really helped out a lot. And I think we got lucky a couple times. Like we stunned a champion, it went through the Ursa Shield and like Pop Fox, and then Chad's Ursa Shield gave out. He got one tapped, and I'm shooting it with an overload hand cannon, which I was running for my primary. He was still glowing, so he wasn't getting overload. So I luckily had my super with the pop and get a couple revives off. But it's just it can be so, you can have such bad luck if like 2 overloads start running through at the same time on top of the mini Hydra, and then like the next time you run it, one of the overloads stays outside with the big boss. They don't come running inside. So it's kind of RNG what happens to you, and just got to roll with the punches and blind overloads as much as possible and chain those supers. And I really think that Stasis Warlock would be the play the next time around to shut down some of that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, the rest of the strike is very straightforward GM. Sticking back. The good thing is we went with scouts, so we had plenty of range for anti-barriers. I also ran my explosive hand cannon, so the explosive rounds have no damage fall off. So as long as I'm hitting things dead on, I'm still getting plenty of damage. So if I can aim right, I'm still doing a good amount of damage. And so, I mean, the first couple areas, you're sticking back, sticking with anarchies if you can, wither hordes if that's what you got, and doing lots of Ursa's chaining back and forth. Now, if Ryan, I want to say if you do a well like Ryan did this time, you can't stand in it as the Ursa. You got to stand in front of it so that you're taking damage to proc the Ursa's effect. But if he's doing the Stasis Warlock and throwing those little mini turrets all over the place, you can feel free to walk forward and just tag everything with your shield to make everything blow up. Blinding nades are a must in this. Being able to blind at least partially of the room in GMs is going to be incredible. And it also puts breach and clear on them. So anybody that gets tagged by that is going to be debuffed for that. Now, in that main room, there is a tip that I have as well. For when you go into the left where we went, anyway, there's 3 entrances. There's an entrance, there's the doorway and the beginning of the room. There's that middle doorway that points out towards where the bosses spawn. And then there's a doorway to the left, which goes out and around. Now, if you poke enemies from the left doorway or the right doorway, you'll get flanked. So you only want to ever peek from that middle spot. And you don't want to shoot things from either the right or left doorways, because then you'll get hydras coming around, or you get the wyverns coming around on the sides, and that's just a dangerous situation. That's how we wiped plenty of times. The first time this came around, one of us was on the outside trying to take care of ads from a distance on the left doorway or the right, and then next thing we know, we're surrounded by overloads while the other 2 are trying to take care of wyverns, and then it's just a wipe.
Yeah, some of them teleports are quite ridiculous. They'll jump out of the portal, then they teleport, and they're 5 meters away from you. It's pretty ridiculous. And but breach and clear definitely saved us a lot of ammo, a lot of time, and it's a must use. I think we had 2 of us, or all 3 of us rocking. I can't remember. I know I was rocking it.
Yeah, I thought
I did not have it on.
Yeah. So 2 of the 3, that's definitely a good way to go. It's pretty hefty price, 9 energy, but it's definitely worth it. And do you all want to say anything else about Grandmasters, about the Glassway, before we move on?
Yeah, I would like to speak up. The part before the boss room where you have to hold the sync plate and you're kind of in that long rectangular room, and the ads kind of spawn at the top and they're firing down on you. Whenever you're going to hold that sync plate, make sure that as soon as the enemy spawn, the person can back off the sync plate. And there's 2 little like half walls you can hide behind at the very at the entrance of that room. And make sure you're, as a warlock, that you're using using your rifts. And if you're running that stasis build, you could even run the Boots of the Assembler? Is that the new one?
Yep.
So you can just stay safe there. If you can have a solar scout rifle, like Vision of Confluence, it really helped in that part.
Oh yeah, the solo shanks that come out. Okay, so breach and clear, super strong. And the other mods we've had in the past that have debuffed enemies has been Oppressive Darkness and Sundering Glare.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to rank these 3, including the price, Oppressive Darkness was 6, and Sundering Glare was 2 or 3. I can't remember. I know it's a small energy number. Your favorite, if you rank them 1, 2, 3, what would you say?
For ease of use for us, and for anybody that has Anarchy or Wither Horde, it's going to be Breach and Clears first. Easily and far and away the first. You're not bound to a specific subclass. and you're using a gun that does a lot of DPS without having to do much work to do it. Next would be Oppressive Darkness, because even though you are stuck to a subclass, you can throw down a void grenade into a group, and usually void grenades like to do a lot of area suppression, but they tag a lot of people. So you got a lot of Oppressive Darkness going on there. But then Sundering, you were kind of stuck because it was sniper. They made it so you had to sit I think it was a certain set of meters away, and then you have to get a couple of headshots before it procs. And that is super specific. You can't do that in a lot of rooms. Most things, if you tag them with 3 precision headshots with a sniper in non-endgame content, are going to be dead already. So while I like it a lot as an idea, I think it shouldn't have had the distance limitation, but the headshot limitation should be okay. Because then you would mostly use it on yellow bars and bosses. Without that range, I think it would have been really good. But far and away, breach and clear is super easy. You tag something with a grenade launcher no matter what it is, and then you got a 35% debuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, for me, it matters on what the meta is. Breach and clear with the anarchy meta, number one. But if you're doing the divinity with double Izanagi's, it's Oppressive Darkness and Sundering Glare, because you're proccing that easily at that point. So I'm still Breach and Clear 1, Oppressive 2, and Sundering 3 for me.
Yeah, so I think Breach and Clear is it's super busted. So it's like number one. It should be like it should cost like 11 energy points to use. Like it should be so much it takes 5 away from 2 different things. Because I mean, even if you have a special grenade launcher or a kinetic grenade launcher or a heavy grenade launcher, it all does the same. So if it was like only heavy grenade launchers trigger breach and clear or something, then it would be probably more fair, if we're being honest. But I think Sundering Glare's number 2, because Oppressive Darkness, you got that cooldown on the grenades, and if you're not spec'd into a discipline build, it can take a while to get a void grenade back. As somebody that doesn't spec into discipline except for whenever I'm running that stasis build, and then so I would do breach, Sundering, and then darkness. That's my personal preference.
Yeah, that's true. All right, boys, we're going back to the moon. Ain't you excited?
Woo!
Can't wait. What is it? I go to the moon. It's made of cheese or something like that.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So the weapons that haven't been reprised from the sunsetting fiasco is they're coming back, and they're adding some new perks to a few of them. So I don't want to go down the list. So does any of them stick out right now to you all of weapons you want to go back to grind, or a perk that they're adding to one of them that you would like to have?
I mean, Dreambreaker getting cornered is going to be interesting. I don't remember which
it's adaptive.
It's adaptive. Okay, so but still, faster charge time and draw time when surrounded is neat. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works. And then giving that grenade launcher chain reaction is, I'm always for more grenade launchers having that. It's a fun perk. So
I did love that grenade launcher too.
Yeah.
Before I had like full court and
auto loading is the one you wanted.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then which one was the machine gun from there?
It's the 5 Memorial. It's an adaptive frame, so it's a good one.
Oh, and it's getting adrenaline junkie. Yep. Ooh, okay.
Yep. It's an arc.
Grenades gives you killing things. Okay.
Yeah, we don't have a dark adaptive frame besides that one, so that's definitely going to be a must-have. For me, it's going to be every waking moment. The SMG that's void. It's getting Killing Wind added to it. So if there's a Killing Wind like kill clip, I don't know. They might change around the perks. This is not set in stone because a lot of times when they've revised these weapons, they flipped some of the perks that's in column 3 and column 4. So it can be a lot of good stuff to go out and grind for. But always a big fan of Void SMGs for some reason. I think part of me still misses Recluse. So just to have a Void SMG again, just it feels good.
And we got that Shayura's Wrath out of Trials.
Yeah, I didn't get any good rolls on it.
That gun's really, really good. And as a little foreshadowing, we did get a question about Recluse for the mailbag. So,
and then, the other weapon I missed from the moon was that Sniper Tranquility, and you used to be able to get firing line on it. So I had an auto loading firing line with extended mag, so you get the 7 rounds. I love that.
I thought it was like triple tap firing line or 4th times the charm firing line. One of those two.
No, you went auto loading so you could stow it, switch to your grenade launcher, fire those off, and then switch back. That was our garden.
I think I had both.
Loadout.
I think I had both rolls of that.
Yeah.
Which we haven't seen firing line.
I hate
on
this
stuff. Yeah,
I hate this, man. Man, I am not happy. This is infuriating in a way. I grinded all these weapons out 2 years ago, and now you're making me grind them out again. Just change the name of them. Even if you reskin them, chop the barrel in half or make the barrel longer, make it different colors, do something and change the name. And then I don't feel like I'm chasing the weapon I deleted, because it was sunset. I mean, it's infuriating. It really, really, really frustrates me.
So I understand your frustration, and to me, this is making it to where they could keep selling Shadowkeep and Dreaming City for a price as an expansion. So those people that get into Destiny and buy those expansions are like, what? Half these weapons I can't even use anymore? Like, that doesn't feel right. So they're correcting that wrong. So I see if this was to a new player, somebody hasn't bought those expansions, this is they had to do this, in my opinion, even though it feels bad for the people that's been playing all along.
Yeah, because
you're 100% right, but how many people? It's kind of like how many more people are you going to make mad than you are that are you going to make happy?
So, do we think any of these weapons I must have go back and get?
No. I mean, Tranquility is the only real one because it's a kinetic sniper. That machine gun, I want another one of those because I used it a lot. But not for any end game purposes. It's just because I want it. And the rest of them are here or there. Everybody's kind of like, some people really liked the arc logic. They liked how it felt. They liked the gun. So they're going to go get it. But the rest of them, I'm not really.
Yeah. I don't feel as bad about the moon because you have the lantern of enhancement to focus what weapon you're wanting to try to go get. But the Dreamy City weapons, which they finally finished those, we got Tiger's Bite, Twilight Oath, and by the return, the sword coming back. So again, they're adding some perks there. And I tried grinding for Explosive Payload Vouchsafe whenever that first got returned in the dungeon, and I got tired of going back there. Like, I've already spent a bunch of time there to where I didn't really need it. It was something to chase, and I just put some time doing it. But like, I just play the new stuff when I want to take a break. I'm not killing myself to go out and grind some of these old weapons.
So I think with me, it's not weapon specific. It's like a principle type of thing, as opposed to, are any of these weapons must-haves? Absolutely not. If I run a primary sniper, I'll probably run like Izanagi's or something. But at the same time, it feels bad. It feels really, really lazy. All because, so how much is Forsaken and Shadowkeep if you are to buy them not off of CD keys? Which, pro tip, you can get both expansions for like $20 or $25 off of there.
I haven't.
Are they still like $39.99?
Let's see. I'm gonna try to go to the store here.
Yeah, I haven't looked in a long time. Couldn't say.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just it feels bad, but it's there's bigger issues than this. But
So Steam has them on sale right now. It looks like if you
are they like 20 a piece?
they're 10 a piece right now. I think you got to do some kind of bundle. Yeah, if you bundle
Like the upgrade bundle or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
But they're normally $15.
Yeah. That's I feel like $15 is pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
For those expansions.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So if you never really grinded that stuff out, or there's a few of those weapons that you absolutely love, they'll be able to be brought up to light and have some new perk combinations.
Now, how would you feel if there was a way to bring your sunset versions to the new versions? Like I think that would make me more mad because I've already deleted them.
Yep, exactly.
I still have them like a chump because I can still use them, just not in in-game stuff. But I mean, they did do that for the the Last Wish weapons. They did update those, gave them new updated stuff, and then so I'm like, oh shoot, I can use my sniper again, and I can use this and this and that. And not that I got any good guns out of there because my luck is doo doo. I still haven't gotten the Nation of Beasts. I think I've had it drop this many times too. I think I've gotten a total of 2 of them to drop, and one of them was I think it was like a PvP role, so like a kill clip feeding frenzy. So I was like, okay, but then I never got the fake bringer.
You didn't get the fake bringer?
Nope, nope, not once. I didn't get a single. What are they? The already masterworked roles? The
curated roles.
Yeah, I never got a single one.
Whoa!
In that entire raid.
And you had just so everybody knows, you had 50 plus clears on it, or close to 50.
I don't want to talk about it. Those chests drove me insane.
I love chests. That's my favorite part about Destiny.
Iron Banner back again. Rest in peace, Asher.
Asher? Asher? Is that you?
Yeah, Iron Banner's back again next week. And so, to me, this is my least played season when it comes to Iron Banner. I think I still haven't completed the Iron Banner quest on my Warlock. So, I guess I'll try to get that done. But if I get any of these bounties, I'm just going to keep them stack them up for next season.
For XP, yeah. I mean, I was thinking the same thing. It's nice to have it to get him back again, but I don't. I haven't been playing Iron Banner a lot this season, so it'll be about stacking the bounties for next season, hoping to get a good weapon.
I did. I only did the quest on my Warlock. Maybe I only did it on one character. So there's usually 3 Iron Banners or 4 Iron Banners a season, and each week I do the quest on one character. And pro tip: whenever you decide to turn in your tokens that you have stashed, which I'm sure most of us have somewhere between 500 and 1,000 or more stashed away, do it on a character you haven't completed the quest on, because I didn't get any armor to drop. I just got weapons, and I was able to get the what's the 120 hand cannon? Steady hand?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the god roll of it. What is it, like quick draw swashbuckler or something?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. So I got it to drop. So and like I said, I did it on a character I hadn't done the quest on yet. So that would be my advice for it. But otherwise, I don't care. I'll do exactly enough to get the quest done and continue on about my business.
So the weapon changes to the Moon and Dream City is actually happening this season, and that's going live on July 6th. And later on, the TWAB Cosmos writes some stuff about how they'll have more to come about the update that happens that day, July 6th, which happens to be one day before July 7th, which is Bungie Day.
Bungie Day.
Do we have any expectations that potentially we think that could happen during that week?
We know we're getting an emblem.
True.
I'm sure. Yeah. So
Yeah.
If you don't know, there was an emblem that was in the API, I believe. It was not data mined from all of like the 7 minutes that I researched on Twitter. It was not data mined. It was found in the API, and it was like a ramen emblem or something, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and I guess it required a code to unlock, and people that got it decided they were going to start selling it for like $50 this emblem. And then DMG gets on and is like, "Hey, this was supposed to be a surprise for Bungie Day. Do not buy this emblem; it's going to be free." So, if you see an emblem that you don't recognize, it very well could be from that.
Yep, those data miners are ruining everything for everybody, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Spoilers everywhere. But I mean, it's of course they got something planned. Who knows what it's going to be? If it's just going to be a little thing where you just talk to people and that's it, or if you go do something, who knows? There's lots of of spoilers from stuff. If you want to go to raid secrets and see what they say is going to happen, you can do that. Um, Not saying I did or not, but I mean, take whatever you see on there with the grain of salt and go about your day. I'm just gonna wait to see what happens and get my little ramen emblem and enjoy the rest of my day after that. But it'll be it's always a fun Bungie day. They usually have a post of something and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, do you remember back when they used to have the Bungie triathlon?
Mhm.
And they would like blog about it. That was always pretty cool. But I will say, I have my silver ready, and I hope that the spoilers Chad's referencing are correct, because that would make me very happy.
All right. So maybe next week's TWAB will be a meaty one with Solstice of Heroes coming, the Vault of Glass hard mode coming. So that probably have some information about those things, hopefully. And we get to find out more about that.
So Solstice, was that the EAZ, the European Aerial Zone? Was that event?
That is correct, and there is a couple of things that have been data mined about that. I from what I've seen, I don't think they're changing it. Um, by the way, this isn't really spoilers. It's been the same the last 2 years. I don't think they're going to do anything. Um, but last year we found a little cat that only exists in the Dreaming City, like under in like a basement area underneath it. I never went to look at it because you couldn't do anything. But we might be able to actually give it give it a snack like you can in the Dreaming City this year. So it'll be interesting to see
Ooh.
what happens. Yeah, and
I have noticed I have been getting rice cakes drop for me.
yeah, if you yeah, I mean you all, will always get those to drop rice cakes, and then the was it a small gift on the Dreaming City?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have like 75 of those in my
yeah,
inventory.
yeah. But it's definitely seeing that is also hinting again at going back to the Dreaming City next season. Which obviously, since they're bringing back the Dreaming City guns, is pretty good timing, isn't that? Like weird that the Dreaming City guns are all going to be back in rotation again, huh?
Weird.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if
Uh,
we do you think they will do you guys think next season we get to reverse the curse?
Well, with Korea down, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen with the curse? Because if it was the one controlling the curse, like, is it going to be stuck in like its final, like the third form until we break it? Because that would be neat. But who knows? I don't know. I can only speculate.
So, but does that mean the Dreaming City is in a well, like what's going on? What's in the tower right now? It's a simulation. So the Dreaming City is in a simulation controlled by Korea.
It's stuck in a time loop. So I don't think it's a simulation. I think Korea is controlling that particular space and making it repeat each week after week and then going back and then just like
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, back to one. So with Korea not being able to do that, I should actually look because you can judge where the season is going to end and which week it's going to be on when the season starts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it falls on like that first week of the next season is the curse strongest week, I mean, We might be
Well,
stuck on that until we fix it.
if that River Dawn gear has a permanent like taken effect on you when no
Oh,
matter
that'd
where
be
you are,
dope.
I know what I'm
Mhm.
spending silver on to unlock
Yeah,
that
but what
stuff.
if it is? Imagine if the Eververse armor does that too, and like the actual
Oh, I
like
hope so.
the ornaments from the season pass do that too. That'd be dope.
Oh, I hope they put that in
Take
the
my
Eververse
money,
too.
Luke Smith. Take my money.
Okay, not
Absolutely.
off the silver, but the season pass stuff. If the season pass ornaments have that shimmery taken effect, dude,
No, I
all
say
in.
you make it
I'm all in.
$20 per piece. $20 for the head, $20 for the arms.
What have we done? Ryan, stop.
$100
I'm losing
set.
viewers.
Oh my!
$100 set. Just
Oh,
so you can flex a little with that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, that's a joke in case it didn't come across.
With you, I don't
So,
think people can tell.
that's why I'm good at it. So what I will say is, see, when Forsaken came out, I played it for 22 hours or something, but I remember getting to the Dreaming City. So like you complete the Forsaken campaign, and then you have to do like a quest, and you don't really know what the quest is going for, and then all of a sudden you end up on another planet, and it's like, oh my god! And you get there, and you are so under light that whenever like whenever a public event would come, you would literally need like 6 or 7 people to be able to complete the Blight event. But that was really cool. The Dreaming City is probably my, not so much now, like going back to it, but at the time, it's probably been my favorite destination of any Destiny game, with the Dreadnought a close second.
yeah, that was 2 great times in the Destiny world. So we're gonna break down a weapon for you, and this is one of Chad's expertises, and this is gonna be the plug 1-1, right? Plug 1.
I mean, it's the
Plug
plug
1.1.
one. Let's just plug one. Plug
Okay.
one. I think, based off of the dev talk, I'm out of the loop now, and I'm scared about it. So I'm going to be doing a lot of testing. I'm going to be referring to what Jared is saying and the knowledge, quote unquote knowledge that I have currently of fusions. In the past, based off of testing, the farther your range, the closer the spread of your gun is, which makes sense because increased range decreases the cone size for spread-like weapons. Now, in that podcast, the dev was saying that stability was the actual important factor, and I'm gonna give it to Jared on this one to explain more because I still have to listen to it.
So that basically means like whenever you go to shoot that fusion rifle and it starts to kick up, which you do a lineup basically, that the stability shrinks the amount that gun kicks up. So stability, what you're looking at with hand cannons, so like the biggest one I've seen with is the one with an Iron Banner this season is the 140, but it has an Iron Reach on it, and it tanks your stability. So if you sit there and you keep firing it like as fast as possible, that spread going up a wall is huge. But if you max the stability out, it's really small whenever you stack those shots. So the same things happen with the fusion rifle.
Okay. So based off of that, stability being important, for PvP, we're looking at fluted barrel, small bore corkscrew, liquid coils, and then under pressure or killing wind and kickstart. Now, kickstart, I haven't been able to mess with. I haven't gotten a fusion with it yet. The Trials fusion has it, but I haven't been lucky enough to get one with that roll on it. So I'll let Jared talk about him having fun with that one. But under pressure and killing wind are definitely the 2 choices that I would make for PvP. Under pressure being great now that it procs immediately on as soon as when you respawn in, if your magazine is below half, you have it procced immediately. You don't have to fire a shot. So that's great. And then killing wind, you can go on a tear with that thing. If you get killing wind procced, you're gonna go to town if you get used to that gun. But as far as kickstart goes, Jared, how do you like that?
I love it. I had the Exile's Curse, and I don't think I have liquid coils. I think I have projection fuse on it, maybe. with slide shot and kickstart. So
Oof.
like it's pretty nasty whenever you get that timing down. I would say it takes a lot of practice to get the timing down of parking that. I think you have to run for like 1.25 seconds or 1.5 to get it
Yeah, it
to
was one and a
go.
half, I think.
Yeah, so if you get one and you put the time in, I think you could really change uh, the outcome of all your games. If it's trials is your thing to not many people expect to play against fusion rifles, and it's mostly shotguns or snipers. So if you're really getting in that mid range one shotting people, you can really do some damage and do some damage for the better. And I would say, like Chad, the thing with liquid coils for the PVE, well, we'll switch over to that. You're increasing your damage, but you're shooting less shots off in like a matter of time. So what are you recommending for that column there?
For that column, I mean, like I said, I've been more about range. But if you're looking for something, then particle repeater increases that stability even more. And if you for the plug, if you get like chambered particle repeater, yours, and then you slap on an adept stability, you can get to 90 stability on that thing.
Ooh.
It's crazy. The stability on that thing is massive. And you can do the same thing for range. If you still want to spec for range, I'm going to try to get both of them to see if I can mess around with them and see what happens. I might end up mixing up and getting a combination of the two because, like I said, the range reduces the cone spread of the shots, and then the stability increases its verticality. There was a perk in D1 that did that. It made the spread more of an up and down than like a shotgun blast. And it's excellent. I think it came on Saladin's Vigil and another one, and that's obviously what you want on a fusion. You want a predictive up and down because you're hitting someone in the chest going up and they're dead. But definitely projection or particle repeater for stability or projection fuse for range. They're going to give you the same amount, about +9 on either one. And that's going to be either of those is going to be great for sure.
So what would you say to the people that say that accelerated coils is better for PvE because you're getting more shots off in a shorter amount of time, therefore you're doing more damage?
I mean, you have to do damage testing on that one because for fusions,
there is. So
yeah.
for the most of the time, the accelerated coils does better DPS, but liquid coils does better per shot.
Yeah.
So I guess to me, it's two different ways to play in PvE. You're unloading a clip, or you're conserving your ammo, trying to take out as much as you can per shot.
Mm-hmm. And for me, for PvE, for fusions, I go for as much damage per shot as possible so that I can take out individual enemies as quickly as possible. Because if you go for accelerated, sometimes you can't take down some of the adds with a whole shot. But if you go for the liquid coils, the increased charge time and impact, you can. So you're not DPSing with a fusion. You're not shooting at a boss over and over and over again. So you're not going for DPS numbers. You're going for straight damage numbers and wiping out each enemy one at a time. And if you have enough damage, you can wipe out 2 or 3 enemies at a time. And that's what I love doing with Glacier Chasm. Just going in and then shooting the line and just destroying 3 red bars in a row. I can do that with one shot versus reducing its impact and maybe hitting 2 faster. It's like, okay, I killed 2, but I could have charged it just a second slower and killed 3 instead. I'm much more on the impact side for doing more damage than for doing damage faster for fusions, for PvE.
Yeah, so PvE, then we'll go on. Just you want to increase that stability and range, that small bore and hammer forged corkscrew, and then your third column is going to be Feeding Frenzy paired with Reservoir Burst. So you get that kill off and get that quick reload and get that big reservoir shot again, right?
Oh yeah, make things blow up and reload immediately. It's always
of course,
fun.
There's no auto loading holster to try to make it the loaded question light, but that's probably the next best thing. All right, Chad, the cartographer. Let's teach us about Osiris.
Oh man!
Whoa! He's not the cryptographer. He's Chad the Chronicler.
The
I
Chronicler.
graduated. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay,
Chronicler
okay.
now, sir.
All right.
Got my Titan glasses on. Reading my
Because I got
coloring
Halo.
book.
I got Halo on the brain, I guess. Right?
All right. So we're going to talk about Osiris. The main reason is because of what's been happening this season. And like we talked about, I think we talked about this last week. He's been sus for us for a long time. It started in Season of the Hunt where Jared just made the offhand comment that he shouldn't have been taken down like that, which got all of us kind of thinking like, yeah, you know what? You're right. It's Osiris. With his echoes and his ability, he's lived how many? Probably thousands of years worth of experience. How could he get taken down by a knight? Even without his light, he has all of that battle experience. There's no way he couldn't feel something was wrong and turn around or didn't have his instincts kicking and just look behind him every few seconds, you know? But initially, Osiris, we heard about him back in D1. Obviously, he's a very legendary figure, and we heard about him just like we heard about Saint 14, Andal Brask. There's all of the Iron Lords we heard of, Fellwinter, stuff like that. But there wasn't a lot of data, and we never met him in Destiny 1. We did have the Trials of Osiris, so we met his quote unquote disciple. In the for the Trials of Osiris, we heard of who he was from books and from lore, and we heard about his groupies, as I think he calls them groupies, or Segura does, something like that. But it's just all these people that follow his teachings way too closely, too much. They're too much even for him to handle. But Osiris is really shown initially in the Battle of the Six Fronts. He becomes a legendary figure then, where people talk about how they give accounts of him fighting with them or destroying enemies and then going away. But this happens all across the city. So he's the warlock that is every place at once. And he uses his echoes to do that. So he uses his echoes to be in the Battle of the Six Fronts everywhere he can be and fighting all at once. And it's amazing. That's where he earned a lot of his accolade there. And that's where I believe that's where Saint definitely tried to get his father, the speaker, to promote him to Warlock Vanguard. He does eventually get the Warlock Vanguard, and him and Saint 14 are very close, obviously. But during his past, while he's in the tower, his just how do I want to say it? His search for knowledge is paramount to anything else. And it ended up interfering a bit in his Vanguard duties. He would push too much on doing things in pursuit of knowledge, and it rubbed the speaker the wrong way. Very much so. He was saying things that were blasphemous, apparently, and were not what the speaker wanted people to be thinking about in the last city. And he was actually even a friend of Toland, who is also considered an enemy of the city as well. And eventually he is exiled for his book that came out. And he released a book about his findings, about what he thinks the Vex are going to do, how they are the true enemy of humanity. They're in the system, and he needs a force to wipe them out. And he's trying to do that as the Vanguard, the Warlock Vanguard, and the speaker doesn't see the Vex as a threat at the moment, and he keeps speaking against him. They both keep on button heads, and finally the speaker has had enough. And him and the governance of the city all make the decision to exile Osiris and make Ikora the Warlock Vanguard, because she is taught by him, but she doesn't have his same thoughts. So they see her as a person that is more in line with what they want for the city. So Osiris is sent to exile, and he takes that time to learn more about the Vex. He learns more about Oryx and sees all of his little monoliths around the system, and he ends up sending a transmission to us about destroying the Court of Oryx. That Oryx is a huge threat to humanity, and he needs to be wiped out as well. And so we destroy stuff and kill Oryx and do some stuff like that. But back in the past again, Saint 14 is sent by the speaker to find Osiris. They find out that Osiris is messing with the Vex Gate, an ancient Vex Gate into the Infinite Forest, and Saint is sent in there to retrieve him and make sure he never messes with Vex technology again. And so Saint goes in, and this is where we learn about what Saint did. He goes in, gets lost, and ends up dying after, I want to say 100 years. I don't know exactly. I haven't looked up a lot of Saint 14 lore yet. But he ends up fighting and killing countless Vex in there and dying, and that's where we find him, in the Curse of Osiris. Now, Osiris is plagued by this, and come Destiny 2, during the season for Curse of Osiris, we find out what he's been doing. It's the first time that we get to see Osiris and who he is, and Ikora has us work with him kind of in secret. And we learn about Osiris and his echoes. We learn about Panoptes and the Infinite Forest and what the Vex are doing. They're simulating as many futures as possible in order to create a future where they succeed and destroy all of humanity and everything in the system. And Osiris has seen many different futures where the sun is burnt out and the Vex have won. And he calls Ikora for help, and we end up going to help him. And we're going through this forest, and we're using the forge to create multiple weapons, and all of these weapons have multiple lore pages and stories on them. And at the end, we get the perfect paradox, which is where Osiris actually sends us in, and we find the tomb for Saint. We find out where he is and in the Infinite Forest, and we're kind of pulled out of there. But then that is like the last we saw of Osiris for a bit. Now Osiris comes back as a main pivotal character in Season of the Dawn. That is where he creates a sundial in order to use the Vex technology on Mercury to save Saint. Now, we help him, obviously. We help him with the sundial, get all of our good rolls that we want, all those good guns. And we save Saint 14, and we bring him back. And we find him in a time where he hasn't died yet. So we bring him to our current reality, and Osiris is infinitely thankful for that. And we find out the real relationship him and Osiris have. Both him and Saint are extremely good friends and very close. And Osiris and Saint, with going back to just talking about who he is as a person, Saint knows him very well. They exchange letters. He'll sneak onto Osiris's ship and leave him a letter, and Segura will find it and give it to Osiris, and you see Osiris smile reflexively at it, and you can tell that he's happy to be talking to his friend again. And it's all very, very touching to see, and seeing that Osiris is still human, is still a person with these kinds of emotions about someone else, especially. Now, we fast forward again and go to Season of the Hunt, and we find out that he is sent on a mission to initially to, I want to say, the Tangled Shore, and he finds some Cabal. He goes about wiping them out, but he ends up finding out that Xivu Arath is behind the corruption that's being taken place. And this is all happening right before Season of the Hunt starts. And he finds out that there's information on the moon that is absolutely unbelievably important to the mission. And so he goes to the moon, and he finds out it's a trap, but it's too late. And he gives Segura one last letter to give to Saint, and it gives a transmission to her, but she ends up sacrificing her light in order to to save him, and we find out that that is the last moment that she has, and he is no longer a guardian, but he is a human. Now, we see him in the cutscene for the Season of the Hunt. He gets knocked over by a knight, and right before it kills him, he's saved by the crow. Throughout the Season of the Hunt, we don't really talk to Osiris too much. He is in comms a lot, and you can tell that he's kind of worn down. He's a little different, but not by much yet. And then it's Season of the Chosen where you see a change, a little bit of a change, just something small. And it initially happens when you see him talking to Saint, and he's talking to Saint about trials. Saint is telling him we need to stop. The stasis is too much. These people are wielding the darkness, and it's not something we want. And he says, really? Take notes. And Osiris says, no. Or Saint says, no, we need to stop this. And Osiris says, no, this is important to our survival as a people. If you're not going to take notes, someone has to. And then Saint flinches, and Osiris is acting very impatiently with him, and is very, very stern. And it's something that we haven't seen him react this way to Saint before. After all that he's done for Saint, after everything that he went through, he created the sundial which could have destroyed reality in order to save this person. And yet he's acting very, very curt with him, and it doesn't make sense. And you find out that he's no longer responding to the letters that Saint's leaving him, and Saint is very hurt by this. And Ikora tells him, you know Osiris better than anyone, but Saint looks inward and says, no, Sagira knew him, and without her around, he's not sure if he knows Osiris at all. And you can tell that there's something that's changed, and it's not good. It's something that, based off of the past and all the experience and all the thousands of years of collected knowledge that Osiris has in trying to save his friend, this shouldn't be possible. He shouldn't be able to have these kinds of emotions towards his friend. He shouldn't be short-tempered with him. He shouldn't be no longer responding to his letters, which obviously happened after Sagira. And I understand that he's no longer a guardian, but it's all very suspect as to how he's reacting. He should be turning to his friend for comfort and reassurance, and yet he is walking away from him. And he is cutting Saint off on his friendship, but he's telling him to take notes about stasis. So it's very telling as to what his priorities are, but those shouldn't be priorities of Osiris based off of who he is when he's talking to Saint. If he was talking to us about that, it would make sense. But I mean, that pulls us into the present with Season of the Spicer, and we've talked about this before, but he is trying to save things that he shouldn't be. He's saving the Crown of Sorrows. He's trying to save Coria and keep it for himself, and none of this is adding up. And I'm sure Ryan has plenty to say about our what he might call a red herring, and his warlock hero. But that brings us into today, and I'm very interested to see what Osiris does throughout the rest of the season.
So, Chad, I know that you think about this stuff while you're at work, and I know it'll cross my mind. I drive a lot for my job, so if you've kind of been following everything, it kind of seems like Osiris now is a lot different than the Osiris we had before. Do we think that it's too obvious that something's going on with Osiris and we're going to get like backdoored?
The only thing that can come to mind was that, like, I think it was like one of the lore pieces from maybe during one of the Halloween things, or so, I can't remember when, but it was like something saying that, like, how he's showing signs of aging faster, how he's no longer immortal and stuff, and like how he's getting old, and that maybe he's just deteriorating. He's like going senile.
Don't you ever accuse Osiris of having dementia again.
I mean, and like I said earlier,
Stop your slander.
with all the echoes, he gains all of their experience. So if they're doing something, they report back to him, but he gains all of that knowledge that they gained as experience. So he's lived a long time within that infinite forest. So I feel like even if he is deteriorating, he'd be able to control certain things in a way that we can't, obviously. It's just, I don't know. Like Ryan said, it's becoming more and more obvious. But again, we've been playing the game for so long, it wasn't really obvious in Season of the Hunt, and people weren't really seeing it in Season of the Chosen either. I kind of saw it where he talked to Saladin on the side. Saladin's going to like have a meeting with Zavala to try to change his mind. Not about talking to Kylo, but he wanted to apologize. He wanted to go up to Zavala and said, "Hey, I'm sorry for how I've been acting. I've been kind of a dick, and I just want you to know that I'm your friend, and I hope that you see me that way too." And he wanted to have that talk face to face, Saladin to Zavala, and Osiris said, "You shouldn't do that. People might see that in a different way. Go do something else." And that's where after reading that, I was like, that's weird. I feel like Osiris would have been like, let's go talk to him together. He would have been more of a mediator there to make sure nothing bad happened, more of like kind of like a leader. And in the lore that happened this week with him and Saint talking to each other, he even says that he's not a leader. It's like, dude, you've been a leader. You are always a leader. Why are you saying that you're not now?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's been building for a while, so to us it seems obvious. And I'm hoping I'm wrong, because then it'd be like, twist. What?
It's like the dialogue stuff.
It was the chicken all along.
When you open up the expunge message and he tells you to not trust your senses and mess around too much, like that's just so off character for him to be that way. Do we want to get into these mailbag questions now?
Oh yeah.
All right. Our first one here is from Jordan Grant. As how can the Vex be classified as much as an ally as they are a foe, with a desire to exist in the final timeline?
I think the only way is because they're not going to be seen as an ally. They don't have empathy. They're machines, and their whole existence is to survive. But if there is a timeline in which we end up in a space where they need us to help them survive, and then they go about killing us after, that's the only time where they're kind of, our situations will merge together into one thing, and then they're going to diverge again based off of all the simulations that they do. So I don't think they're going to be seen as allies, because they can't be. They don't have the emotions and the that kind of society to do that. I think they might be seen as like a temporary ceasefire, but that's about it.
So I haven't watched The Walking Dead for a long time, but in the beginning of it, you could drown yourself in like the zombie guts and blood, and you can blend in with them because they couldn't smell you. So if we start the Deep Stone Crypt back up, everybody converts to an exo, and we start to blend in with the Vex, and we become like, we like get under the nose, and they can't detect us because we kind of are Vex at that point.
It's worth a shot.
Let's go.
It's worth a shot.
There's only one AMC show I watched, and it definitely wasn't The Walking Dead. Jesse Pinkman forever. So here's kind of how I see it. So I kind of feel bad for the Vex because, well, first of all, let me say they're my favorite enemies. I think they're the coolest class. And their whole thing is like, if we run enough simulations, we're going to find the timeline that we're going to win. However, Guardians are these paracausal beings. And if you look up the definition of paracausal, it says in the causality that something can bend time and space to its will by altering predetermined outcomes. So they're literally like computers trying to solve an unsolvable problem. So I think that the whole paracausal thing, and really the first time, and this is probably just me being stupid, but the first time I ever even heard that word was with Hawkmoon. Was that thrown around on Guardians until then?
I mean, okay. So there was a first hint at it with Guardians Make Their Own Fate in Vault of Glass.
Right, which was like literally like 1 month after the game released.
Yeah. And then there's the Vex Mythoclast, and I think it's in its little like flavor text. It says paracausal loop.
Or is yes, it does say that. It does say that. Yeah,
but then it doesn't reference paracausality until way later again.
So it almost seems like it was in the vanilla story, like because both the Vault of Glass and Vex both were in the vanilla story, and then I don't remember it ever coming around.
Yeah,
mentioned again, but I miss stuff like that all the time, so it wouldn't be a huge surprise if it was there, but I don't recall it.
And I mean, Saint 14 has been a character for a long time, so they've had lore on him thought up already. And part of his story is that when he was in the Infinite Forest fighting a war, one-man war, they created a Vex Mind that literally copied and drained him of his particular light. They literally had to copy his light and steal it. His specific frequency of light. And they succeeded. They succeeded at creating a Vex Mind that could steal only his light, nobody else's. And he smashed it to bits. Because he said, I don't want you to kill me. And I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you with my face. And he did. He smashed it to bits. And he sent us a note saying that they created a machine that's made just to kill me, and I'm sitting on top of it. So, I mean, if
that's pretty ballin'.
Yeah, exactly. He said they made this machine and it can steal my light, and I'm sitting upon its shattered corpse. And it's like, bruh, like, we can obviously change our own fate, and that's the only thing that the light can give us. That's the reason that the travelers came into existence, was to change fate. And we have the light inside of us, which allows us to do the same thing.
All right. Our next question here is, I have a friend that won't buy the season pass anymore because he doesn't play enough to complete it. Should Bungie follow the way Halo's doing their battle passes, which lets people work on the ones from the past whenever, even if a current new one has come out?
Yes.
If I could turn into the 100 emoji right now, I would. 100%.
I would just be the fire emoji. Right? Yeah, it's
great.
Yeah, so would you have to, and keep in mind, I've like 60% paid attention to 343 and how they're doing Halo Infinite, because I have no faith in them whatsoever. But do you have to buy the season to get the season pass, and then like say you only make it to rank 55? Then whenever you come back 2 seasons later, you continue that battle pass?
I think
the new battle pass? How does that work?
I think they're doing it the way that the Master Chief Collection's set up. The Master Chief Collection has separate battle passes, and you can actually flip through which one you want to unlock stuff on. So like they have their old school one, and they added the Noble one for Reach. And you can just flip flop. You say, hey, I want to do the Reach line instead of like the regular one. So you flip. So now you're unlocking stuff on the Reach one, and you can go, hey, I want to actually go back and do the other one, and you flip and do that one instead. And then once you complete it, and then, that kind of stuff. But I don't know how exactly it's going to work.
So are the battle passes free? So like everybody would get the free track, and then if you decide that you want to buy it, you would then unlock like the bottom row of those.
I don't think they've gone into specifics on it yet. They've just talked about it being able to be done in the future, so that you don't miss out on any of the battle passes. You can get them whenever you want.
Right. So like if you wanted Ariana's Vow, you could work that, and you didn't play that season, you could work that season pass.
Yep. I think that'd be how it would be. Which means Jared would
Sounds
have been
great
able
to
to
me.
complete 5 seasons in one season.
Yeah, nerd.
Well, I mean, if they have a big season, which is probably going to happen with this one or the next one, probably going to be an extended season. That'd be a great moneymaker for them, I feel like. But I don't know what the undertaking that would be needed to get that into the game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? All the time they spent just bringing Tranquility back, they can use to fix the battle pass stuff.
Damn time they spent doing transmog, they could have put this in there instead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I have to say, I don't ever want to hear anybody complain about transmog. I think 12. I have something like 43 pieces I can transmog, and I have not been trying to do it whatsoever, like do the bounties or any of that stuff. So it's just not for me. It's not for me, and the amount of hours it had to go into that is just sickening to me.
All right, with sunsetting gone, many beloved weapons are now gone, including beloved. Would it be cool to see some more popular ones like Recluse get reissued in their original state, but as exotics? That's from Ty.
They did that with Kvostov, and then the raid primaries in D1. They made
Like
those exotics.
Fatebringer.
Yeah.
And Atheon's Epilogue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all of the raid primaries became elemental primaries as exotic only. Otherwise, they were kinetic. I mean, it'd be neat. It wouldn't be as ridiculous because you wouldn't be able to go Ignition Code, Recluse, Anarchy.
I think you mean Mountaintop, Recluse, Anarchy.
Yeah, I'm trying to stick to the future here, okay? It would go Ignition Code, Recluse, a sword, maybe, or a grenade launcher, a regular one.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't be able to run that monster loadout. So it would limit you on your exotic loadout, which would make it less broken. Because the fact that it did that kind of damage when it wasn't an exotic was what made it a monster. Because then you could go Mountaintop, Reckless Anarchy, and just play everything in the game and just win.
It was so much fun. So much fun beating people in Gambit with that. I think that the issue with it would be like the other, like Breakneck, some of those other weapons, they're not really exotic worthy. So what was the really cool Void shotgun?
Python.
That came from Gambit. Yeah, Python.
Yeah.
And then this is embarrassing. The fusion rifle.
Loaded question.
Yeah. So I wouldn't mind to see Loaded Question, but it's kind of just like it's pretty similar to Merciless. So I mean, it's not exactly the same, but there's not enough difference between them. We have too many exotics as it is, probably. We have 100 exotic weapons.
We have a lot now.
Yeah, so
I enjoyed them as they were at the time and leave them in the past. I don't want them to come back. Has such fond memories of them back then. I don't need them to have them again.
R.I.P. in peace.
Do you guys think we'll get a sneak peek early at a Sabbathoon of in-game at the end of the season, like a post-credit scene, or carry the hype into Witch Queen? I'm super curious to see what she looks like after all this time. That's from Dylan. To me, they're going to have to give us some type of trailer or in-game something about like Sabbathoon, and because usually in the summer is whenever you can buy the year pass, including the DLC and all the seasons. So they're going to have to give us something to sell us on that for us, everybody to buy the big expansion at the same time we always normally do.
I think it after what's happening during this season, with Savathun being actually important here, it would be good to get a tease of something. I think based off of like the main hive glyphs that we've seen, we've noticed that the shape of the helmet or the helm of the main hive god is their crest. So the shape of their helmet is the crest. We've seen that in Oryx. I think we've seen that in Crota as well. So we have kind of an idea of what she looks like. We also know that she is a wizard, so we know that kind of the shape that she's going to be in. But also she's tricky, so we might get a totally different shape that we don't know. So
then we haven't seen Xivu Wrath either.
No.
So
the Cabal have.
Yes. Yep. Well, we know Savathun somewhere in the last city spitting up black taking gunk, right?
But she's also looks like a human, so don't know what she looks like.
How's have you thought about how ridiculous it is that there's a guardian or a character in Destiny that's coughing up ascendant blights and just like nobody sees it right in the dead center of the tower?
I mean, think about it. She's a hive god. She can obviously just look at you and make you think something completely different. So even if you saw it, all of a sudden you didn't see it.
Men in Black Flash. You didn't see
exactly.
it.
So it doesn't matter.
Good to our last question here. If you could have any enemy in Destiny 2 as a pet, what would it be? This would not be for fighting. That's from Chris.
Servitor,
yeah.
I think I'd like I kind of want one of the little Cabal dogs, but I think a servitor would be good because you could like set up a drink tray on top of it and have it go to the fridge and fetch you drinks.
It's a war beast, not a Cabal dog.
It's a Cabal dog, my guy. It's a dog. If it's not in war, would it just be a Cabal beast? Because I'm not sending him out to battle. He's just going to be my homie.
It'd be a peacetime beast if we're not in war.
Yeah, no. Servitor's it for me.
I'll go with Cabal Pupper is what it would be deemed. I would go with the Cabal Gladiator. I think those guys are pretty sweet.
You'd be your drinking buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably just like a little callus. I would just like to have a little callus rolling around.
A little puddle of goop just following you.
He's not. No, I'm talking about the Caballus, the Caballus, the callus that we all know, the one from the boss encounter. You have him at like a 1/8 scale, or that'd be like a 1/32nd
He's
scale.
Humongous. That'd still be big.
1/32nd scale. Well, then people would think we were twins. So I'd be all right with that too.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything else?
Oh, it's getting close to like the best time to grind out some stuff in Destiny. If you haven't went hard in this season, so Grandmasters are out. Vault of Glass hard mode coming in 2 weeks, and Solstice of Heroes coming in 2 weeks. So if you've been putting some stuff off, there's some good stuff coming out here soon to get out and grind. Yeah,
definitely hit up at least the regular Nightfalls for this week. The Grandmaster is going to be a rough one for sure for people that aren't good at Grandmasters. Plug is a gun to have in the vault just in case they make changes. The normal changes they make to fusion rifles are the opposite of what I want, but you never know if they do something to it. Otherwise, spend some time in splicing some stuff, getting those, like we talked about the other week, getting some ignition code rolls going, getting some chroma rush rolls going, because you can grind those out real easy, and just have a fun time.
Yeah, I've been focusing on those ignition codes. I have got like 2 or 3 good ones, but I don't have like a really good blinding one yet, and that's kind of what I'm waiting on. I have the deeps one, but not the blinding. Also, the raid challenge is pretty easy this week with oracles. If you assign everybody one oracle and assign the most left front oracle, also the person that is responsible for that one also shoots the one in the middle, like front middle, and then just rotate every round clockwise. So like L3 would go to R3, R3 to R2, R2 to R1, blah blah blah. We did that our first try, and pretty easy. Next week's going to be the week to grind that out though for spoils with the Templar, and it's because the challenge is not to let the Templar teleport, right?
Yep.
Yeah, which is how you do it anyway, for the most part. So you'll get 2 chests, so 2 sets of spoils. So if you're into grinding those, which I'm not totally against, but I would grind them and save them as opposed to grinding them and spending them. So next week would be the week to plan for that, unless you're just really, really, really excited for Iron Banner. So remember to follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. Join the Discord. Follow us on Spotify, iTunes, and then subscribe and unsubscribe and subscribe and unsubscribe. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. The bell, I don't know. They always point like this or something. So click the bell for the notifications. Join. Make sure you do the giveaway. There's like this is the best chance you're ever going to have to win a giveaway for Destiny. So now's the time to do it. Jared, do you have anything else?
I got some plugs.
Hair plugs. Chad, go ahead.
I don't have any plugs.
All right. And go out, become legend this week. Love you guys.